We then did a number of ranger guided tours. These you have to sign up to, and the rangers take you to places that you can't go on your own, either because they are difficult to get to or because they don't want the cave to get damaged. These are very delicate formations that they're very keen to protect for obvious reasons. The first one of those that we did was we went to King's Palace. King's Palace is absolutely phenomenal. The decorations there are just incredible. Emily, our ranger who took us around, was a great tour guide, and she showed us all the different things in there, talked to us about how the cave formed, and some great history on the caverns in general.
And she pointed out all the different cave formations.
We have learned so much about caves in the last few days.
Incredible.
So sulfuric acid was likely in this area due to the hydrogen sulfides. Some of us were talking earlier, we're a very rich oil and gas industry out here. Lots of hydrogen sulfides in the ground. Likely some microbial activity as well. Lots of research going on with that right now. So this process goes on, ending about 4 million years ago. There's of course no sulfuric acid present in our caves today, or we would all be in hazmat suits in here and masks. Wouldn't be in here for very long. And then our cave begins to decorate itself, so to speak. So all of these formations around you can be grouped together as speleothems. One big word for cave formations. And as the water from the surface above is coming down, it's bringing with it a little bit of calcite, and that's what's formed all of these. These are all calcite formations. So lots of water is dripping down, finding its way through pores in this limestone cave, and leaving us this beauty that we see today.
The King's Palace tour is a 1.5-hour walk into the deepest part of the cave open to the public, 830 feet below the surface. At $8 per person, King's Palace is the second cheapest of the tours we did, and a great overview of Carlsbad Caverns. I'd definitely recommend this tour if you want an easier trail, no rope climbs or ladders on this one, but still want to see some spectacular cave formations. So the second tour we did, second ranger guided tour that we did, that was to see the left-hand tunnel. This is very different from King's Palace. This part of the tunnel, or this part of the cavern, is much newer. It has not formed the decorations that you see in the King's Palace and in the self-guided tour as well. This is much more barren. You can just see the real sort of formation of the cavern there. And our ranger there, he was a great tour guide. He led us through and talked about how the cavern formed, some of the things that we'd see as we walked through. And again, really interesting to see those sides of things.
It was also a really interesting atmosphere because we went through with lanterns. So that was kind of showing the history of cave exploration, that those times they didn't have LED lights and torches.
Yeah, seeing the cavern lit by only a candlelight was just incredible.
All right.
Cool, thank you.
Thank you.
Cool.
We've all gone over safety precautions with the lanterns. I definitely appreciate that because one of my collateral duties is fixing these lanterns.
It's fascinating. It's a really interesting kind of, very different from a lot of the national parks we've been to that are very big open spaces.
Yeah,
It's very interesting.
but we still have a lot of big open spaces up here. There's 44,000 acres, and a lot of it's wilderness.
Left-hand tunnel shows how the cave would have looked at the end of that first phase, before cave formations had appeared. As a result, this tour focused extensively on the formation of the cave.
I had mentioned earlier about the fossils in the cave. Right here, we have one of the best examples, actually the best examples of brachiopods in the cave. Little tiny shelled creatures, kind of look like clams, but they're not bivalves. These are, you can see the intricacy of all these shells. The entire area we're walking through right now is actually a crack through sponge work. This is a sponge fossil right here. the big things that hang down are gypsum crystal chandeliers, which we have 2 in this cave, but they're small. So aragonite, like you see here, is the same stuff that seashells are made out of.
Left Hand Tunnel is the cheapest ranger-led tour at $7 per person. If you want to experience the cave by candlelight, to put yourself in the shoes of early explorers and learn about the cave's geological formation, then this would be a great tour for you.
You have a iron impurity in the water, in the calcite. It can start to form red and white bands, which will then the cave drapery would be known as cave bacon. You can imagine people being down in these caves for hours, if not days on end. They might get a little hungry for something from the surface, and they might start naming some of these formations that might look like their favorite foods after that.
Question about the naming. What's the difference between a cave and a cavern? Why is this Carlsbad Cavern?
Cave and a cavern can be the same thing. A cave can be a cavern can be a cave. It usually denotes size, large spaces. So a cave might be just a little area that you can crawl through. These large open spaces, what they usually term caverns.
Sure.
So, it doesn't even look like there's a pool in there hardly. Yeah. It's so clear and calm. Anybody notice all these little black and brown dots that are in the pool bottoms?
Guano.
Yes, it is guano. It's bat poop.
Wow.
We lovingly refer to them as chocolate sprinkles.